Hey, Frieza!
Throughout my normal, boring, shitty daily life, I have been asked mostly two questions. Why do you hate people so much, and why do you like Dragon Ball Z? The second question, which I consider way more important, got me thinking. I never really made an actual valid argument on why Dragon Ball Z is so special, at least to me. Yes, I watched it more than once, and every time I see this beautiful, masterly crafted pointy hair, I immediately smile. I knew I always liked it, but why? And today I'm going to answer this question, because today I am going to talk about the great thing that we call Dragon Ball Z. I think the first thing that will come to anyone's mind when I mention Dragon Ball is this dude, the most famous and the most known anime character in the entire globe. Goku for me is the perfect example for keeping it simple. Of course, if you look more carefully into his character, you may find some depth, but let's be honest, he's the basic shonen protagonist, but that does not make watching him any less enjoyable. Like, at all. His enthusiasm and his passion for fighting is really inspiring. Goku's goal isn't to become the strongest, like the angry, prideful Saiyan prince who we are going to talk about later. Goku's joy comes from the challenge, the journey, and the process that will lead him eventually to victory. He loves facing opponents that are stronger than him, and this trait exactly is what makes a lot of people, including me, get attached to him. The pain and the suffering pushes him to become better, and he shows signs of amusement when he faces these difficulties. It is just so goddamn beautiful. Goku, at least in Dragon Ball Z, doesn't only show his playful fighting enthusiast side, because when shit gets real, Goku will get motherfucking serious. And I'm sorry, but I have to do this. Let's just sit for a moment and adore serious Goku. Goku now has a family and close friends that he cares about deeply. So when Nappa, the guy who looks like he is taken from PS2 WWE WrestleMania, starts beating the hell out of Tien, Piccolo, Gohan, and Chaozu, yes, I'm not counting Yamcha because he got killed by a fucking Cyberman. Goku now is mad, he wants to beat Vegeta, and here where it gets interesting for me. Even knowing that Vegeta is the reason for the death of his friends, Goku, when he gets into the fight, it seems for a second that he kinda doesn't give a shit. I know that seconds ago I said that he has people he cares about and he will get serious when they are hurt. Seconds before, I also said that he loves a challenge. And here, these two aspects of his character blend in beautifully. He knows he's protecting Earth when he fights Vegeta, but he lets himself enjoy it at the same time, which brings us to another part of Goku's character, a very important part. It's his denial and acceptance of his Saiyan heritage and identity, which starts at the end of the Saiyan saga when Goku spared Vegeta, not because of mercy or anything like the English and Arab dub say, it's because he wants to fight him again. He wants to enjoy the feeling of punching Vegeta in the face again, and all that because he may be in fact a Saiyan, like the goddamn tale wasn't proof enough. But this development of Goku concludes in the Frieza saga in one of the best moments in not only anime history, but entertainment as a whole. The first Super Saiyan transformation. In this moment, the feelings that Goku is having are of acceptance, anger, and frustration. After burying Vegeta, he understood that he is indeed a Saiyan. After his fight with Frieza, he felt frustrated, and when Krillin was killed, he was mad. All these emotions played a part in this moment. The peak of Dragon Ball and the peak of Goku as a character. But even after all this, after we all thought that Goku is going to kill Frieza, because seriously, the dude committed every fucking sin imaginable. He should be killed, right? But Goku chooses to give him one last chance. A chance that was goddamn wasted by this bold psychopathic space warlord. That's because beside his Saiyan identity, he is still an Earthling, raised around humans. He's not just this alpha male Saiyan maniac. And I still didn't talk about Goku's understanding in the Cell Saga that he should let the next generation do its thing and that his role is kinda over. I know that was ruined in the Buu Saga, but come on, it's just amazing. That's what I can call simple but effective character development. But one of you will come up and say, "What are you talking about, you ignorant freak? Dragon Ball Z doesn't have character development." Yes, it may not look as complex as those dark, grim anime that every 13-year-old watches to think they are cool, but in the end, character development exists in Dragon Ball and there's no doubt about it. What, you want another proof? Okay, enter Vegeta. The first time we actually saw Vegeta, he was eating a person, an alien, but still an individual, so technically, he was eating a person in his first appearance. When it comes to his design, he is a short guy with confident face expressions and a pointy hair. He may not look very intimidating at the beginning, but believe me, Krillin, this son of a bitch is crazy. Vegeta is the Prince of Science. He was born into a society where you are judged since birth according to your power level. He was acclaimed since childhood for his great power. Great power he never deserved, power he was born with, cause training and improving yourself isn't the average Alpha Saiyan way of life. If you are born with low power level, you are a low class warrior, and they will shit on you by sending you to places like Earth. If not, you are in a higher class of Saiyans and you will be able to eat people for lunch. But this mentality that Vegeta was raised to have will change soon. When he went to Earth and fought Goku, in his mind the results were predetermined. It's just a game of whose power level is greater since birth for him. But he was shocked when he found out that this is not the case. A person can improve, and that's the case for Goku. He had this long journey since he was 14. He learned and upgraded his skill tree. But on the other side, Vegeta just stayed in the same level, conquering planets, eating aliens, and just chilling doing normal Saiyan shit, thinking that no one can go up against him. But again, after his ass was kicked by Goku using the Kaioken that symbolizes growth and evolvement, Vegeta started to understand that his limited way of life won't make him stronger, won't make him achieve what he desires. And we see this change in the Frieza saga when he refused to take this counter, which means that now he learned how to sense ki. It's a new technique that he learned from the Earthlings. Like, he also learned how to control his power level, which, as we all know, gave him a huge strategic advantage in this arc. But even after learning new techniques, even when he got insanely powered up compared to the Saiyan saga, even after all this effort, he found himself in the end helpless against Frieza, shedding tears of frustration after he learned that what he does doesn't matter. He's still not even close to Frieza's full power. I want to stop for a second here. When I was a kid, I only watched cartoons and anime to just enjoy it. Dragon Ball was no exception until this happened. When I as a kid saw Vegeta, the Prince of Saiyans, the one who was for me evil incarnate, a warrior with incredible confidence and arrogance, literally cry from the hopelessness of this situation. It was the first time that a TV show or an anime actually touched me. I never expected to feel sad for someone like Vegeta, but here I am, feeling sympathy for someone who eats people. But this doesn't stop here. The even more touching moment was when he died, begging Goku to kill Frieza. Frieza, who turned out to be way worse than we even thought. The dude took Vegeta away from his father while forcing him to do his bidding, while threatening him that if he doesn't, he will kill his father, which he does anyway, along with his whole kind. So it was all useless. He literally enslaved Vegeta, who was in my eyes the unshaken, evil Saiyan prince. But now I learned that he was in pain this whole time. It was the first time you actually see the human side of Vegeta, and it was just perfect. But of course, again, Vegeta's character development doesn't stop here. You may actually say that it starts in the end of the Frieza saga, because after chilling in Earth for some time, he was getting closer and closer to the humans. He was still an asshole in the Cell saga, but midway through the arc, he improved as a person. He learned how to express his pride and love for fighting in a more healthy way, and by the Buu saga, he was kind of a good dude. But apparently he still had evil in him, so he turned into Majin Vegeta, and then he realized how much he actually likes his wife and son, so he sacrificed himself to save them. But I really don't care, the scene just slaps. Another character that had great development and one of the most obvious ones is Son Gohan. Gohan's story can be in fact one of the most relatable ones in the whole series, because it's a tale of growing up, coming of age you might say. It's his transformation from a kid who cries a lot and gets afraid in the battlefield to an actual man that can carry the responsibility of his family and friends' safety, becoming the most badass son of a bitch in the universe. Like I said in my Why Characters in Dragon Ball Should Die video, from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, it seems like Gohan was being prepared to become the lead, overcoming his fears, learning how to control his powers, until we reach the moment of awakening, the Super Saiyan 2 transformation, which represents the moment when he understood that his father is not here anymore. He's dead, and he probably cannot go back to life. Well, sorry, he actually came back. But at that time, Gohan didn't know that it was possible, so now he embraces his responsibility, his anger, and his will to protect the ones he cares about. And he actually does it. He defeats Cell with maybe the best Kamehameha ever. But after this fight comes maybe one of my favorite scenes in the whole show. It's the last moment in this arc when Gohan feels the touch of his father's hand on his shoulder, but then he turns around to find no one. I'm sorry, but imagine if this was the end of Dragon Ball Z. It could have been one of the best endings in shonen period. But
All my fellas, all my fellas, all my fellas, all my fellas.
of course, Dragon Ball is known for the large cast of characters which, aside from Goku, Vegeta and Gohan, most of the time they take a back seat. They have their moments like Tien vs Cell, or Piccolo's transformation from an evil demon who wants to rule the world or something to a valuable ally and a friend. But characters getting ignored throughout the series is a mistake that almost every known shonen out there does. Of course, Dragon Ball Z doesn't appeal to me just because of the characters. I like them, they are a huge part of the full image that is Dragon Ball Z, but of course another huge aspect is the action. The main reason why any of us got impressed and engaged with the show in the first place is the fact that we kinda love watching two giga shady dudes punch each other in the face. Because when it comes to action, at least at that time, Dragon Ball was the master of the craft. They started the formula that a lot of other shonen anime will follow in the future. It's what I like to call the long ass 50 episode fights. And what I actually love about these kinds of fights is how actually the plot progresses throughout the action. Most of the time, Dragon Ball Z killed it in this section. They used conflict and combat to flesh out characters, and of course, we see the perfect example of this in the Frieza saga. But aside from all this, what about the actual fights, the combat, the ass kicking? Does it still hold up? Well, mostly it actually does, because when it comes to choreography and the presentation of the fights, they are just great. And of course, the one who should take the credit for that mostly is the original author of the manga, Akira Toriyama. But that doesn't mean that the animation studios have no part, because believe me, they do. Animation in Dragon Ball Z actually varies in quality throughout the show. The quality is determined by the budget and the competence of the ones working on the fight, so it can look like this, but it can also look like this. Most of the time, the animation is consistently good, at least in my opinion, because rewatching the series, there wasn't really a lot of moments where I actually felt, well, this looks so fucking bad. Also, the direction of the fights is most of the time solid, with camera angles and overall effects on the screen making combat look really exciting. And I'm not joking when I say that they look exciting. I watched Dragon Ball Z fights millions of times, and every time I see them, I really feel engaged. In addition to the characters and the action, Dragon Ball Z also has another side that I don't see many people mention. Something that made Dragon Ball Z even more special for me, and that's the aesthetic. Of course, when it comes to anime, this term is usually used for more artistically driven works, like the Ghibli movies or the many masterly crafted 90s anime, but I don't see many mention that Dragon Ball Z actually have a beautiful and memorable visual and vocal theme. From the empty, lifeless desert where the Goku and Vegeta fight happen to the beautiful forests that have all kinds of creatures, bears, tigers, dinosaurs, and dragons obviously, or the homey and warm feel of the simple and humble looking house of Goku and his family, surrounded by trees, mountains, and all kinds of natural elements. But on the other side, we have the city, the more populated area, full of stores and cars and people. There's also the World Tournament Ring and the iconic planet Namek. Dragon Ball Z has a lot of beautiful backgrounds and locations that help shaping the feeling of Dragon Ball. But you know what also enhances the experience, making it more unique and memorable? Is the goddamn music. I know there are different takes on what music fits Dragon Ball Z the best. Is it the music of the American version or the Kai one? But for me, I don't think there is any competition with the original Dragon Ball Z soundtrack. It is unmatched when it comes to capturing the vibe of the show. Like, come on, how can I even describe how beautiful the original music is? Only way I can describe it is by using the words surprisingly cinematic. It is just powerful music. You can easily find the connection between what you are hearing and what you are seeing. Exciting fights have OSTs that express danger and tension. It can use somewhat quirky instruments from time to time, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't reflect the epic nature of Dragon Ball Z's tale. Drums, the trumpets, the violins, and the rest of the various instruments are used to give Dragon Ball Z a special and unique taste. If you watch anime from that period of time, you may find similarities between the music in Dragon Ball Z and the music of those anime, but that's normal. It's normal to be inspired by the time it came out in. However, that does not make it bad at all or any less intriguing or fitting for the story. I'm literally playing it now on the background of this video. Listen, what the hell is this? How is this so goddamn beautiful? Dragon Ball Z is amazing. It's an anime that makes me feel something that no other show will make me feel. It is not the best shonen, it is not the best anime, it doesn't have the most complicated story or characters or world. But that didn't stop me from loving it so much, and I probably will love it until the day I die. Because it made me live this beautiful journey with these amazing characters, witness their struggles and how they overcome these struggles by improving and breaking their limits. It's just a beautiful and inspiring piece of entertainment. If you like this video, please don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and leave a comment if you want. And thank you.